All right, sorry about the glare on my glasses. I'm gonna do my best to stay out of the sun. Um, so I just started watching this Japanese drama called Light of My Lion about this guy Hiroto who takes care of his adult autistic brother Michito, and then they end up having to take care of this little boy with suspected abuse that calls himself Lion that he believes might be his long lost sister's son. So at one point in the show, Hiroto is trying to go find their sister, so he leaves the little boy in his brother's care. I really empathize with Hiroto at this moment. He's pretty much had the exact same routine with his brother for years, literally. Michito has a very strict schedule and way of doing things, which Hiroto has pretty much accommodated for the majority of his life. He probably felt like it would be a quick trip, and so Michito, who is technically an adult, could handle, going through the routine on his own with the little boy. Then he would just meet them at their usual spot when he was done. Of course, things don't go the way that they should on this particular day because it's against the routine, and the little boy is like 5. So Lion does exactly what 5-year-olds do. They get to the park where they're supposed to be waiting for Hiroto so they can eat their bread, and he's throwing a fit and yelling. So this all throws Michito into like a whirlwind of overstimulation and stimming. So it's time to get on the bus, and Hiroto has still not shown up, and the little boy has forgotten his toy in the park. Michito is extremely inflexible and panicked about the time and his brother not being there, so he completely neglects Lion and gets on the bus without him. So, my son is lower on the spectrum than how this character is presented or how autism is presented in the media in general, but this still has me thinking about my own child and when he becomes an adult. Like, I've done a lot with him over the years, even before I realized he was autistic, to help him gain independence and understand how to take care of things in the event that I'm not there to help him through it. Because honestly, I didn't want him to have that level of inflexibility and sensitivity when he grew up. Like, I really needed him to be able to survive and thrive in the world. So there are plenty of times where I feel like Hiroto in this moment, where I try to leave something for him to do independently, but then I'm reminded that he is autistic and he does have ADHD. So he does still need my help with things despite being almost 14 years old. When my son was younger and I learned that what I was dealing with was autism, I had fully accepted that I would need to take care of him for the rest of his life, or hopefully and rather the rest of my life. I mean, he's made miraculous strides, to the point where most people don't know that he's autistic when they first meet him. And before anybody jumps in my comments, I'm not necessarily saying that's a good thing, because it does often leave him in situations where there are higher expectations for him than what he's actually capable of meeting. So, naturally, though, I am grateful for his achievements so far, even if he does still need my help, in his 30s or 40s, 50s, whatever. So when I see autism represented in the media like this, I still think about that. I've only watched the first 2 episodes, and Michito's acting is a little grating at first, but I understand that this is a dramatization. But despite that, I feel like the show is doing a pretty good job of representing what life can look like, from different perspectives of the spectrum. Plus, this is set in Japan, so different lifestyle. Hiroto has pretty much given up his own life to take care of his brother after their parents died, but he's also found comfort in that expected routine, and I feel like a lot of us as parents and caregivers can certainly relate to that. Lion is a child and has only been with the brothers for a few days, but he's already becoming painfully aware in social situations that Michito is different from other people. But we also get to see changes in Michito as he's now having to adapt to having something new in his life, disrupting his routine and forcing him to do and try things that are different from what he's used to. I feel like there's a lesson here as we get used to knowing what our autistic child or sibling or whatever likes and wants and needs, because it's our job to know and anticipate those things. And sometimes we stop trying or allowing them to do things that are different because we want to avoid those tantrums and we want to avoid them being uncomfortable. But we also want to avoid being uncomfortable ourselves. when my son had full on meltdowns in public, it was one of the most horrifying things for me, especially as a new single parent. Like, I avoided going out in public for years. Hiroto works in welfare, so we also get the insight and perspective from people who are outside of their direct dynamic. So there are a lot of other things happening in the show too, but I'm really interested to see where this goes.